Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK 2020 Spring. I am Atlas, joined once again by BV, aka bravely volunteering because unfortunately LS is not feeling super well. Don't worry, guys, it is not the coronavirus. He's just got a bit of a cold.
He got the Morello virus.
Yeah, the Morello virus is unfortunately what he has.
Saw a little bit too many of those Morellonomicons, and unfortunately he had to take a couple of days off.
Yep, that's just how that one works. But it is going to be Brendan and I trying our very best to take you through this T1 versus Griffin series, which should prove to be an interesting one. Griffin have been struggling a lot, only picking up wins against APK and Sandbox thus far. We saw Sandbox just lose to KT, so not great news, but let's have a look at the points of the match. 19 LCK Finals rematch, of course. That was the summer final that you commentated there, Brendan Valdez. I was at the arena watching along for the very swift 3-0 in T1's favor. T1 certainly seemed to be the kryptonite to this Griffin team, and unfortunately, Griffin haven't been playing very well regardless of that. So let's see what is going to happen. Also, it's the conversation about roster for Griffin also sort has been struggling towards the top side of the map, and yeah, Griffin haven't really done anything about it. He is, spoiler alert, going to be playing again here today. And
T1 are on a real roll. I mean, they defeated KT and APK, sure, but they defeated Gen G and Dragon X, two of the teams that were vying for the top spot. I think T1, kind of off of the back of that, should be seen as team #1 here in the LCK for 2020 so far. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's still early, but certainly they're in talks for being the best team here so far, as 991 kills for Teddy. He's getting really close. A lot of those kills on Jin Air, and then came on over to T1 and is looking to hit that milestone here.
Yeah, looking for 9 kills if we're going to get there in this first game. Let's see whether Teddy can do it. Having a look at the team stats, Griffin, not a lot of brilliant things to talk about, but win rate with a gold lead at 10 minutes is 100%. And that is only 5 victories. So it does tell a little bit more about the opposite side of that coin, with the fact that out of only 5 games were they ahead. At 10 minutes, T1 though, 5-1 as far as that particular scoreline. Another team that's able to play well with a lead. But yeah, Team KDA at 4.3, second in the league here for T1. Can they actually improve that? We'll have to find out, as both of these teams very close when it comes to the average game time. And they're the longest.
The 2 longest teams in the LCK. And, well, we'll see how long T1 decides to let these games go, essentially. I think that's what a lot of people are looking for, a potential 2-0 to come through for T1 versus Griffin, but it's not over until it actually happens. We'll take a look at Effort just dunking all over APK with his Blitzcrank.
He was super impressive in that series. Well-deserved player of the game for a support player. As, Faker avoiding that hook with the ultimate was absolutely beautiful, and the turn off the Baron really showing that T1 have got themselves together. That is for sure. And cuz 8 games so far on this Gragas, I have a feeling that it will be banned once again, because he is just too good. On that pickup, really should be taken away. His next highest played champion is in 2 games, right? He has been defaulting to this Gragas anytime he can. As having a look at Griffin, like I said, they've been struggling a little bit, just losing to Damwon and Armor Life. They were 1-2s, so able to pick up game wins, but otherwise looking a little bit to be desired here, because even Armor Life, after a decent start of the season, did look like they were struggling afterwards. But they did win one of these matches. We'll see whether they're going to be able to do the same here against T1, a team that has had Griffin's number for a very long time.
Homolife taking this one 2-1, as I believe that was another Ziggs game. Good to see there. Cal, he's been the one consistent guy on the side of Griffin. Everybody else, not so much. I don't think anyone else really deserves to be called consistent, as Cal very vocally unhappy with the way the games have been going for Griffin as well, as we have heard voice comms of him, even when they win, being unhappy with the state of the game and the way they're playing.
But this is a fun matchup. UCal versus Faker, one that, you know, we saw a lot when UCal was playing for KT, saving score and being able to get him his LCK title before he unfortunately had to retire at the beginning of this year. And now he's got the difficult task once again of going against the Demon King himself in the mid lane, because Faker has been playing real well at the start of the 2020 spring season. And let's see whether Faker can continue that and try and get a few more of those MVP points, the player of the game points that he's been racking up, currently sitting at 400.
Yeah, I mean, the stats don't tell everything. They could certainly be matchup dependent and champion dependent.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to CS differences, damage per minute, and stuff like that. But if you watch Faker play, he's definitely, as you mentioned, he's ramping up, he's getting better, back to his full Demon King form.
Yep.
And UCal, we talked about not being happy with the way the game is, or the team is playing so far. He has a massive responsibility ahead of him to try to take down this player on the opposite side of the rift.
Also pretty big champion pools for both of these players as well. So far, 11 unique picks for UCal and 10 unique picks for Faker there in the mid lane. Some notable ones being that Tristana performance, being able to pick that one up in the mid lane. Again, hadn't really seen that since Worlds 2019, especially during the group stage. But he's been playing a lot of different things. The Echo was a fun one. As we have a look at this T1 roster, no changes, of course, as Canna will be retained towards the top side. Haven't seen Roach for quite some time, as Canna really seems to have fit into this T1 roster.
He had one game of Mordekaiser where he just looked totally lost, and then we never saw him again. So hopefully he's out of the Death Realm at least, and practicing hard, trying to get better there. Another player who has been struggling in the top lane is Sword. We'll see if he can try to turn that around today, because it is no secret that he is not playing super well nowadays here in the LCK. And same goes for Tarzan, who hasn't been as dominant as he has been in the past in the jungle.
Yeah, we've had to talk about Tarzan, whether he's George of the Jungle or King of the Jungle a lot of the time. Here on the LCK broadcast, we'll see exactly which variant we get as we get into ban and pick for game number 1. Now, blue side will be T1. They will have that first pick opportunity. But what are the bans actually going to tell? Because first pick on is looking very important for both teams, even if Canna has had some struggling performances on the pick. More of a carry player is him on towards the top side. Is Senna going to be the first ban? Senna has received a lot of attention so far today.
Yeah, it feels like she's coming back into the LCK meta slowly but surely. As Azir also going to be another target against UCal. Ornn, second ban after Aphelios has been the way for now, I think, 4 games in a row on the red side. As no Set as well.
Set going to be banned. So Griffin have either Yuumi or Soraka to ban away here, most likely. But with Set and Ornn both taken off the board, Soraka becomes less desirable because she is picked largely into those matchups, as Rek'Sai is going to be the ban here. T1 with the first pick Yuumi actually seems like a really good idea, but Soraka is going to be the choice. And now, if T1 next rounds Olaf Yuumi, it is terrifying. So Griffin now have an opportunity to do that. Of course, the Olaf is one of Tarzan's premier picks. He was the guy that was rushing the redemption on this one. Has certainly started some trends as far as Olaf itemization. It's 5 seconds to go.
I think we're definitely going to be seeing Olaf here. The Yuumi is another question if they want to pick that up just yet. They can save that for potentially third pick on red side.
I think you have to lock it. I think you have to lock it, but the Zoe is going to be prioritized for UCal. And now I'd like to get some sort of aggressive jungler for Cuz and a Yuumi. That's
or Israel Yuumi.
Yeah, Israel Yuumi sounds fine here as well, actually.
But you mentioned something in the jungle.
This would work.
Into the Olaf. Try to shut him down, make him a bit more squishy as he runs at your team.
That is going to be locked in. I think Yuumi would be a smart one for T1 at this point, but they could lock away the AD carry, and they do. Misfortune taken for Teddy. Remember, needs 9 kills to get himself to that 1,000 kill mark. As that's Kalista. Okay.
Yeah, Kalista just right off the bat. And You might see T1 take away some of the champions that she's good with in the bottom side. I wouldn't be surprised to see Thresh banned out first. As, yeah, it's strange to see Kalista picked alone. Generally,
no, I actually love it
together.
I love it because now you can threaten the Volibear, and Volibear Kalista is the way that you beat the Yuumi lane, right? And
yeah,
so,
but you can just ban out both right here. Or they can ban it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the Yuumi being banned, I actually think it's pretty curious because the last pick on the Volibear could have been a really great way to shut down that lane, but not going to go for it, as like you were talking about, a Kalista support going to be taken off the board, the Thresh leaving.
I wonder if they would even go as far as to ban like an Alistar or something like that. If you really want to try to shut down Kalista lanes, maybe even take away the Volibear anyway.
Yeah, potentially. But now the Volibear doesn't have as much value with Yuumi being banned away. Probably looking for something like a Nautilus.
Nautilus, yeah, I forgot about it. Braum.
Yeah, Braum is going to be the ban. Gonna have to dig deep for the support pick. Effort. I want him to go for the Blitzcrank.
Yeah,
that's what I really want.
You take away the Nautilus. Pick Blitz.
The thing I do like Blitzcrank here because he does synergize very well with the Soraka in late game teamfights because you throw down the hook into your silence, then into the Soraka silence, and you can make sure that, you know, whoever gets pulled in has absolutely no way out, as that is the Volibear banned anyway.
Yeah, they did actually ban it, even though the Yuumi is off the board. So, kind of curious. We only really ever see that champion either with the Kalista or against a Yuumi.
Yep.
And I suppose because of that first case, they'll take it off. So, what is going to be the choice for the support? It will be the Taric.
Yeah, it's the what? That was weird. Okay. So Kalista Taric was
also, by the way, Teddy's over here, not over there. That's not a Teddy and effort on both teams.
Damn. Well, Teddy's
I know they're good, but
a much higher chance of getting towards the 9 kills now with 2 of himself in this game. But yeah, this Kalista Taric lane was popularized by Ruler in Life over on Gen G. And they are undefeated with this particular combo as Faker's LeBlanc gets locked in as the answer to the
Blitz.
Zoe.
I really want to see Blitz.
I think Blitz is a likely pickup here.
You can separate it away from the Taric. You can at once nullify a couple of the squishy champions with the amount of burst you already have. You can silence them immediately.
Yep.
With the Soraka.
Nautilus can do a similar thing, but maybe has a little bit more value in a team fight. So I wouldn't mind this pick either. Just have some sort of hook towards the bottom side, and that is going to be locked in.
Yeah, he's a lot more tanky, I suppose, better at frontlining. They don't have a huge front line in their team currently.
Well, Sword looking to sit this stage. Aatrox would be pretty awful into the Soraka, though. See where he does decide to go with this.
I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like it was locked in. Even though we did not get the sound.
Well, the self-counter pick for Sword towards the top side with the Aatrox. He does have a few extra ranged tools, and your all-in can kill the Soraka.
Yeah, it's all about that all-in, I guess. You know, you're pretty fast. Soraka, obviously slow. If she doesn't lock you down and keep you at range, she can be quite annoying.
Yep.
But I feel like she can survive pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sword pick up an early Executioner's Calling.
Oh yeah, that will be first.
Get on top of that Soraka really quick and early. But yeah, you mentioned Faker's LeBlanc coming back here. It's 5-5. Kuro just picked up a win on it earlier today. Spoilers if you missed that match.
And Kuro was amazing. We were actually talking a little bit during that series about Faker's LeBlanc. Kuro definitely proving that his LeBlanc is still fantastic, and now we get treated to Faker's variety of that champion. He is super good at this pick, and it's currently 5-0 so far in the LCK. So a power pick most definitely in the hands of one of our most capable LeBlanc players of all time. Honestly, I think he's probably the best LeBlanc of all time.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to say things like that when it's Faker.
Yeah. Faker holds a lot of best of all time records, no doubts here.
The greatest Riven mid lane of all time.
Yeah. You gotta give him that too. The UCal on the Zoe kind of stands out on this team as perhaps something that doesn't quite fight like the other 4 champions. Yep. They can open it up with picks and trouble bubbles and stuff like that, but might have a little bit of a more difficult time when it gets down and dirty in a 5-on-5, especially with a big Nautilus right in the front.
And Viper and Iroh with this cool Gen G Callista Taric type style. And their mid-game team fighting is actually going to be pretty strong. On the back of the Olaf, if he pairs up with the Bastion of the Taric, you can actually make him a little bit more powerful. As you can see players loading in. Yeah, Faker's taking a little bit of time loading in, you know.
I was going to say, like, I haven't heard the end of that song.
I know, right?
Dun, 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 dun. But we got to hear, like, the next couple of chords in that one, so that was kind of cool.
Hopefully Faker isn't lagging or anything like that, as we are into game number 1 between T1 and Griffin. A storied matchup between two orgs where Griffin, during the regular season of 2019, they would often be able to take this one, but when it comes down to the finals, the best of series, they aren't able to contend with the power of T1, and we'll see whether this best of 3 is going to be one of those situations or whether Griffin can find their regular season form, because right now they do not have it. They have lost the majority of their games, and they are sitting in 7th place, I believe, at this point in time.
I think it's 8th, actually.
Oh, really?
No, you're right.
No, I think 7th.
no, you're right. We just saw the standings.
Yeah, Sandbox and KT are together at 2 and 5.
Yeah.
And Griffin also sitting around there,
2 and 4.
Yeah, 2 and 4. So after this, certainly could be moving down there. But they have won a few of their extra games. No 2-0s, though. Just 0-2s. For Griffin, they in fact do the same thing every week. So it was a 0-2 week in week 1, it was a 2-1 week in week 2, and it was a 1-2 week in week 3. So theoretically, what they need to do now is 2-0-2-0 all of their games.
Yeah.
And then they've covered all of their bases. That's a tough ask against T1 here, though, as Cuz going to get that auto reset and clear out a ward. And Tarzan's going to leash this Brambleback for him.
Oh, thanks, Tarzan.
Yeah, cheers, dude.
George is such a nice guy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Aftershock Taric. We often see Guardian, but going for the Aftershock this time around, wanting to get those dazzles to give him that extra tankiness. And I do like it because you proc the Aftershock as soon as you dive in with the Fate's Call. So it works better for this Callista Taric lane rather than any other sort of Taric lane, right?
Yeah, it's a nice idea, especially because you will be towards the front for a lot of this alongside of an Olaf or an Aatrox that's engaging. Aatrox most likely going to be going for some kind of flank in the majority of these fights.
Yep, Teddy and Viper, both Savants, going towards their Gathering Storm. Scorch picked up for Canna towards the top side. Oh, absolutely not what you want to see. Especially not on the Soraka, who is not going to be winning any lanes. She's just going to be not losing for the majority and then being very frustrating as this game goes on.
Yeah, like, what's the point exactly?
Yeah, what is Scorch actually going to do?
Like, it's countered by Aatrox ceiling anyway.
It does basically nothing in the first place. And then it's doing even less. Okay, there's the hook to follow up there as Teddy. Fair bit of double up damage, and the minion's actually hurting the Griffin bottom lane. Rend is going to even out the trade pretty well for Griffin.
Yeah, it's going pretty well so far for Viper and Iroh. They're getting the push down here. One thing our observer was pointing out early on in the game was that the Conqueror was actually picked up by a Trundle, so suppose in those extended fights against an Olaf in the jungle, he can do a little bit better.
And also remember that, you know, Trundle's bite does lower the enemy AD, so he can actually win some duels in the earlier stages of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Whether he can do it against an Olaf, who is very, very good at early game trading, I'm not entirely sure. But Subjugate does allow the tides to be turned relatively well in an isolated 1 versus 1. So let's see what Cuz can do so far, out farming Tarzan in the jungle here. Does his full clear, goes back home, and will look towards the Rift Sculler towards the top side of the map. I believe as his next option is just pinging the Raptor camp that's going to be respawning relatively soon as, yeah, things are pretty cool, calm, and collected here in the early game. Mr. Valdez, got any plans for later?
That's Valdanalist to you?
Yes, sorry, the Valdanalist. We should probably, in case you've just tuned in or something like that, LS is unfortunately not feeling super well. He does have a bit of a cold at the moment. He's taking a couple of days off just to make sure that he gets up to maximum Same can be said for our producer as well. She's taking a few days off just to make sure that she's in tip-top condition.
So now it's PDG Sun today.
Yeah, PDG Sun. Yeah. Big shout out. Doing all of the translations as well as letting us know exactly what to do. Fantastic stuff. Does it remind you of the good old days back at SPO TV?
Yeah, actually it does. And early on here as well.
Yeah, true.
As yeah, we're just farming here.
we are well and truly.
You asked me if I had any plans later. Well, I might have to cancel them if the game
yeah.
goes as slow as this.
These are the two teams with the longest games in the LCK. So you could imagine that things are probably going to take their time. You can see kind of, only about 6 CS between the two as these waves do equalize, and that's absolutely fine for a Soraka lane. Soraka mainly, her job is going to augment the Trundle and allow him to roam around in this early game and get work done as Effort looks for some damage onto Irove. As Viper and Irove do gather control back in this lane. Decent lead, in fact, for Viper as far as CS.
Yeah, it's about probably 8 if
it's about a wave.
Yeah. So it's actually going pretty well for that Tarek lane down there.
Yeah.
Top lane, I suppose the Scorch plus Harry is actually doing a decent amount of poking, but again, it's really not going to make too much of a difference. As you can see, Aatrox is still going to be ahead on CS. Once he gets a couple of items, he'll be able to brush away that, but we might actually have a fight here over the Ocean Drake. T1 think about it.
No.
Then they
Faker not in position, not going to be able to get down here and contest, as it will be the Ocean Drake lockdown for Griffin. Mountain will be our next one, so Cloud or Infernal Soul this game. I think we know what everyone would prefer. As Sword going to get interrupted once again. Just the life of a Soraka lane opponent is just not a fun one. As you can see, Kanna's going to go back home. Doesn't have teleport, of course, because barrier is always what's picked up for these top lane Sorakas. But he gets himself his Ninja Tabi. And yeah, it's going to be really difficult for Sword to kill this unicorn.
He doesn't pick up any sustain. Okay, he bought a potion there right at the end, probably with the last bit of his gold. And you're going to need that, as you guys can see up in the top side. Has a bit more health this time around.
Faker procs his electrocute, gets out of the way of the bubble. And Redemption, of course, is available for UCal because only the best Zoes get Redemptions
He's
early.
very skilled at his RNG. Yeah. He's probably been working on his RNG.
You should see Showmakers. Showmaker gets it at level 4, I swear, every game.
Level 2?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Dove is another Redemption roller.
Yeah. You're bound to get one eventually in your games.
Well, Umbral Dash there from Sword to get him out of the way of the Q. Kanna just waiting for his next one. But as far as Soraka lanes are concerned, this is a real comfy time as he avoids the Infernal Chains and then throws some bananas back towards the Aatrox. This is definitely a time where he's just gonna he's gonna spend most of this game at Oshak Hennessy's office. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. I looked over at your face commentating that with like
yeah,
really,
it's resigned sadness.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we might be doing this for the next while.
Oh. Kanna does have ultimate, remember, so he's never dying.
Yeah.
He also has his barrier.
It's actually a good lane state here for Sword, but might be in a little trouble now. Has to pop his ultimate.
Yep.
I forgot again that you're the play-by-play, so.
Was that really a time for play-by-play? I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know.
As Yuka runs away from Faker. Faker has the Ignite into the heal. Must feel pretty damn good as the bullet time is going to clear out the minion wave and deter Viper from going aggressive in any way, shape, or form. 11 CS still going to be the lead here for the Kalista in the bottom lane. An understandable type lead just because Kalista does lane so well, especially with the added sustain that Tarek will provide. But you've got 2 long swords and a BF sword for Teddy. He's got a lot of flat damage as they move towards the Rift Herald. And Shelly at about this stage is a very cookie cutter play for either side. Sword has control of this wave towards the top side. We'll see whether Canna's able to shove this one very quickly, throw some Qs at the back line, and open up the map here for T1, because Sword getting his way down this river is a tough ask, as chains are going to go off, but the trouble bubble was used, and Faker had to get over the wall there with his flash. Nicely done by UCal, and you can see control for Griffin will allow them to move towards this Rift Herald. Teddy moved down bottom lane, they gave this one up. And now he's equalized the CS and will grab some plates as well. So possibly a worth it maneuver for T1 to just guarantee Teddy some extra gold and some solo experience at the same time.
He's, you know, 9 kills away from 1,000. Maybe they're trying to boost him up so he can get that tonight. I think it's pretty unlikely that he gets 9 kills in one day, to be honest, unless we do go to 3 games.
If the games continue to be as slow and bloodless as they have been, if you've had a look at some of the online matches of the LPL, it's been games with like 30 kills on one side.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And that was like a 26-minute game. They have all the fun over there, don't they?
Of course, it was a 26-minute game.
Yeah, something like that. It was just an absolute stomp. 21, I think, is what I saw. Emily Rand tweeting about it this morning. I'm going to go and check that one out, as Teddy is just being given all of the time in the world to take this bottom outer turret, but 2 turrets being taken by Griffin. If you can do the math, you can tell probably going to be worthwhile for Griffin fans, as now this Soraka has a very, very long lane to deal with, which she doesn't actually like, especially against the Olaf, who can stick to her so well.
Yeah, they're trying to open up that vulnerability, and T1 essentially handshook it. They're like, yeah, we don't want to take any fights yet, so we are going to have to give away the Herald and try to get what we can in the bottom lane at the same time, but it's not going to be nearly as much as what Griffin did get, as you mentioned. Going for the Mountain Drake now, our T1, all 5 members grouping up here. Looking for a pick.
Yeah, Dreadline is going to land. The ultimate to come through from Irove as he turns up. Can the rest of Griffin actually get in here, as Alt has to stopwatch? Does effort in order to get himself out of there as Faker. He's dived in, found Irove down to 300 health. UCal with the body block as Effort tries to get in here. World Ender from Sword, able to get a lot of damage down onto Effort, but he's going to survive, and T1 do back away.
The 2 supports eating the majority of that damage at the end of that fight, and now we might just go into a bit of a 4-on-4.
Remember, there is no stopwatch available, but Effort does make his way out, and Canna, he's got the heals. And has grouped with his team. Griffin are going to have to get a very swift pick if they want to be able to help this one, because so far there is no heal deny on this Griffin squad, and the Mountain Drake is going to be picked up. UCal in the wrong place this time. First blood goes to Teddy. 8 more kills to go to get to 1,000, as now Faker's poking down onto Tarzan. In fact, from auto attacks alone, gets his electrocutor up. I like it.
Yeah. So Soraka's silence is really good with CC, as you guys can tell, especially against a guy that has 2 flashes. UCal had no chance. The second he got hit by that and comboed into other CC with the silence on top of him, he was dead.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, there's a control ward in that brush. Maybe he just walked straight in, and it was a good read by Effort. Effort's definitely a guy who has been more and more consistent as he gets more veterancy.
Oh, heck yeah.
Here in the LCK. As, again, stopwatch, really good item. Saves Effort's life there, and in any extended trade, the team that has more sustain is going to come out ahead. So even though Effort nearly dies, he doesn't fully die. He comes back here, he's got full health because of the Soraka. And UCal on vision decides, well, I should be out of range of the Nautilus, but that was a max range hook, and he gets denied by the silence and put into the death chamber. First kill goes the way of Teddy, who is now 8 kills away from 1,000.
Indeed. Essence Reaver now completed, has his pickaxe there as well, as these turret plates are going to be dropping in 10 seconds, not going to be picked up by the Callista, and Teddy's going to be a long way ahead of this Callista right now. And Viper does want to get towards those 2 items as quickly as possible, and in Teddy, if he gets to IE and Essence Reaver before the Callista, then you're not going to get the value that you're looking for out of a lane that has Callista in it. So Griffin's certainly going to be feeling the pressure with their mid-game composition versus T1's absolute late game powerhouse with the Soraka on top of the subjugating Trundle, who will scale quite well given the extra augmentation of the healing. And we all know that Misfortune does a lot of late game damage as well. So Griffin gonna have to start getting things done as this game moves forward.
Yeah, they want to come ahead here in the mid game and try to possibly roll into the Cloud Soul. We saw that in our first series. I think it was KT had a nice mid-game composition with the LeBlanc and was able to roll it into so many objectives early on.
Yep.
And the enemy team, even though they had Ezreal Yumi, wasn't really able to come back from there. But in this case, T1 are actually coming out ahead, even though those two turrets did go down in the top side, as T1 took a really nice fight around the Dragon.
Tell you what though, Cloud Soul feels real good for T1. Trundle loves it, able to subjugate someone, stick to them. Canna loves it. Ultimate CDR is brilliant for the Wish, not to mention he can use it as an escape tool with the extra movement speed that you pick up. And Misfortune is actually alright, because you get the movement speed after the bullet time has been channeled, and then you can reposition after that one as well, utilizing it. And you know, you don't need to talk about LeBlanc's ability to dash around after using that Mimic. So good news for T1 fans. It's not as bad as it could have been with this particular Cloud Soul. Minute and a half though, and they'll need to get 3 of them if they do want to lock that one down for themselves. But so far, this game has been pretty easy, pretty comfy for T1. Only ahead by 500 gold, but Griffin, the onus is on them to make the moves this stage of the game. Alright, Faker's gonna find Yukao, connects the chains, gets over for the distortion to guarantee the stun. Like it from Faker's LeBlanc, and dashes in once again. This is what the LeBlanc can do. He goes all the way back to that distortion, not gonna get undertowed this time around. So we always talk about Zoe being strong in the mid game. LeBlanc's also really strong in the mid game.
Yeah, she's gonna have a really good time, especially because it's Faker. On this LeBlanc is going to be taking things to the next level, and now that they have a comfortable lead, and you mentioned the scaling and the actual really great value that they can get out of a Cloud Soul, I wouldn't be surprised if T1 are just the team that sits back, relaxes, scales up, and essentially says, okay, we'll see you in the late game. We don't have to beat you now. We did our job in the mid game, essentially. Now it's all the responsibilities on Griffin to actually try to come back here. So all that T1 have to do is sit back in their lazy boys and watch some TV and
hop
play
on
some
your
games,
beanbags.
you know?
Hop on your beanbags and just get ready for the late game. That's what you got to do.
Grab the Game Boy, spend 3-4 hours just chilling. Of course, they are going to have to fight over Drakes, and because they have this little lead, they were able to roll it into Shirley, and then most likely the Cloud Drake.
Yep, and they are going to siege this one up first as Trouble Bubble goes wide, and the tower is just going to get obliterated by Shirley. Effort, thinking about an opportunity to get some work done, but double charge. Shirley really getting her work done this game as Teddy. That was a little bit overly aggressive. Has to use the cleanse to get out of the Trouble Bubble.
Well, those Raptors, they're really alluring. I know how it can be.
Just one serving of the popcorn chicken, please.
He literally just killed one little one. Yeah. That was it. Had to blow his cleanse. At least he did not have to flash, but because of the Shirley play, they get the Cloud Drake and are now 2 Drakes away. And if you're T1, just sit back for the next 5 minutes and farm. That's all you really have to do.
Yep. Very comfortably grabbing that Cloud Drake while everything was going on. And yeah, there's a bit of money sitting in the back pocket of good old Teddy, who's currently 2,000 gold somehow ahead of Viper. Turret plates. Hell of a drug.
Yeah. Also
2,000 gold, dude, after there's 1 kill in the game.
Yeah, he also got first blood.
Yeah, and now he's 30 CS in the lead somehow.
It's the Teddy effect.
Yep, CS per minute is pretty damn good. 10.6 ain't bad. And we'll be moving towards, it's the 200 before 20 minutes, and even before 19 minutes rolls around.
And you can see that Griffin kind of seemed lost. They're not really trying to force anything, and I think they really have to, but there's no big objective, and T1 aren't forced to come out on the map and actually challenge them anywhere, so.
Nope.
And they don't have, the only really ability they have to pick anyone is the Zoe. So there's going to be, again, so much pressure on UCal to try to carry this himself and look for picks and try to get the momentum going back in their way. But if the game keeps going this way with only fights for the Drakes, then again, T1 are going to be the big favorites in this.
And Teddy is like uber far ahead. So he's kind of just sidestepping all of Sword's abilities. Sword not able to find anything. And he'll just continue farming here. He is ahead by 40 CS. But the same can be said for Teddy. And honestly, if I want anyone to get fed, it is probably Teddy on this Misfortune over the Aatrox. The end of this game.
Looks like Soraka had some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's Soraka. She's never supposed to win the lane. She's supposed to be annoying.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the CS also went towards Teddy or Faker. We saw Faker take the big wave up in the top lane, which could have potentially been Kana's. But instead, it's better to give it over to them, even though LS likes to call Soraka a hard carry, a hyper carry. It's in a little bit different of a way, especially as the game comes along and goes super late. She is unbelievably strong.
Yep, and the Ardent Sensor looks to be coming in next as well with that Forbidden Idol already completed for Kana. Could, of course, be a bunch of other items, but I'd really like to see that one to come in as Faker. Dives on in, gets the Mimic Cube, the Mimic Sigil onto UCal. Taking a fair bit of damage there, but otherwise he's going to be A-OK. And lull state continues. 21 minutes in. As I'm looking forward to 10.4.
Yeah.
You know, I just want some better video games. I was talking to, Faker looking for the chase.
Never mind.
I was talking to Cloud Templar between the last couple of matches, and yeah, he thinks that maybe we'll be saved by a 10.4 patch, but only time will tell. I know LS is pretty excited about it. Is Tarzan not excited about this? The Electrocute going to go off his bubble, lands onto Faker. Doesn't have cleanse or anything like that, but now Cuz is going to turn up.
Oh man.
Of course there's a redemption. There's always a redemption. That one was utilized by iRove though, so thankfully it's not going to be just from the Zoe in the nick of time.
And just like that, 2 flashes are blown right before the Cloud Drake fight, and they push them out of lane. T1 getting little wins everywhere.
Yeah.
Except in the bottom lane, I suppose Sword was able to take down that turret for the side of Griffin. But Faker will be able to answer here.
LeBlanc also loves Cloud Drake, like a lot, because getting that ultimate cooldown just means that those poke rotations are so much faster to come back off cooldown. And you're also so much more mobile, just because you get so much from having your ultimate off cooldown in so many different ways, you know? The extra chain, the extra sigil, the extra movement with the distortion. It's real scary if you're a Griffin fan. Another BF sword now done for Teddy. He's going for the most winningest build on this Misfortune with the Bloodthirster coming in next. Yeah. His bullet times are going to be shredding through Griffin unless iRove can get himself a good Cosmic Radiance. But honestly, I don't know whether you can arm it in time. That's the scary part.
Yeah. I feel like Griffin are going to try to fight over this Cloud Drake and get demolished. Baron will go the way of T1, and then the game will end.
Oh, you've been a bit of an LS right
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of...
Valdanalist definitely getting that work done. As iRove going to try and prove you right. But the Cosmic Radiance does come down. Fate's Call going to help out, but it's not really doing enough just yet. Sword coming in for the flank, but he's going to be really late. The turn is so comfortable for T1, as now Cuz buying time with his stopwatch. There's the redemption. The wish comes down as well as Sword has to flash to get out. Faker over the side, doesn't land the chain, but the Dragon will try and kill Sword for him. Oh, effort! Beautiful flash to get forward as Faker locks down the kill. Now iRove in trouble. Just a simple Q is going to do it there as Faker connects the chains to Tarzan. Has to Ragnarok, second kill for Teddy out of those 9 that we're looking for, and I have a feeling that's going to be the second of this team fight as well. Teddy locks down 3 for this game, only 6 more to go as Viper. He is certainly in the sights of Teddy for that 4th option. Now Faker locks him down with the chain, and that is a waste of a stopwatch, my dude. All too easy. Ace comes in, it's a full house, Teddy's full of Fakers, and T1 will move to the Baron, and look, the Valdanalist is just, he's preaching.
Yeah, called it, that's all I have to say. I told you so.
You did.
It was just a great performance out of Faker throughout this fight. He was so mobile, just all over the enemy team. He started in the back line, and then he circled all the way around. He joined up towards the end to get back onto Sword. A lot of, soft punches thrown early. Stopwatch again, great item. Keeps both of them alive. And then Soraka says, hello, I don't care about your decreased healing. I'm going to keep Cuz alive anyway. Faker's able to get back here, as I mentioned, be mobile on the Sword. Effort sees it, and then the double distortion on 2 people. Easy double kill here for Faker. And from there, it's just 5v3, and not much that Griffin can do, as they tried to get the picks, but when you're up against multiple stopwatches in Soraka, and you're behind in the game, it's not going to work. And now that LeBlanc, that was terrorizing your team, is 2-0-2. Teddy is 4-0-2, which is just unbelievable.
With a 700 gold bounty. Maximum gold bounty.
This game is over. Like I said, it's just done. That's all that needed to happen. The Valve analyst called it.
Yeah, he did.
And I suppose I did the opposite of a caster curse.
It's the caster blessing.
Caster blessing.
Get them bless RNGs in the chat, please.
Yeah. And
don't worry, Viper's hit his 2-item spike though.
Oh.
Ryder's Teddy hit his 3-item spike. Oh, goodness me. Well, Redemption was the decision here for Canna, who decided against going for the Ardent Sensor, which would have just buffed Teddy to unbelievable levels, but now going to be able to augment his team. You saw it actually work out very well in that last team fight, and there's the Fate's Call. Griffin going for the Desperation engage, but iRove is just going to get obliterated. It's going to buy a little bit of time. There is now Faker looking for the backline, and Teddy eviscerates. Good old Tarek, and now Sword does 0 damage. Double kill so far. We're getting very close to those 1,000 kills for Teddy.
Three more.
Cuz will be able to throw that down.
2
Triple kill. But Teddy is, if he gets the penta right here, that's his 1,000th kill.
Faker.
But Faker says nope. And he's going to be able to grab Viper there. Denied as 7-0-2 for Teddy. Takes down turrets, takes down inhibitors. And as the Valve analyst said, this will be the game-ending push for T1. Absolute destruction. But honestly, Griffin didn't really do anything to stop what was going on here. These 2 kills are Teddy's 1,000 kills right now as Tarzan gets the chains connected. Teddy grabs it. One more will be 1,000 kills. Get off that fountain, iRove.
Get in the fountain.
What are you doing? Oh no. 999 for Teddy, but still a brilliant performance from him. And T1 will be able to get that 1 extra kill in game 2. You have to.
No doubt. Total Stomperino there. That might have even been a Stomperoon Arena.
Whoa.
If I had, I might
Stomperoon Arena?
Might take it 1 step further.
I don't know who to give the player of the game to. Is it Faker or is it Teddy? Is it Effort?
Might be Effort. I think it's Faker or Effort.
Yeah.
It really, so little happened in that game outside of the 1 fight that, that's really all we have to go off of.
And that 1 fight was a great performance from Faker.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to give it to him.
I'll give it to Effort.
All right. And it's going to be Teddy that
wins. 1-1. Yeah, it's going to be Teddy that wins. All other votes are going to be 7 for Teddy, and then me and you are Faker.
Yeah, once again, it's the double play-by-play English cast.
You got to be careful. You don't want to get too on the hype train and vote for the guy that got all the kills, even though he was just doing 80 carry things.
Exactly. Well, we're going to check out some replays here, and we'll see whether we feel as good about our choices after this replay than we did beforehand. Because I imagine Teddy also did a large portion of the team's damage as well when we go in towards the stats. So it might be a dicey situation when it comes to who got this player of the game. Teddy got pretty much engaged on, but Flash is out of the way. And the player of the game is a really tough one in this game, because honestly it felt like Griffin lost rather than T1 winning.
Yeah, and so little happened again. It was like 1 big team fight, and then after that, it doesn't take a lot of MVP points to outplay the enemy team when you're 5 billion gold ahead. So that's essentially what happened here. These 2 kills were number 999 and 1,000 for Teddy, but he was not able to pick up more than 1.
0-11-0 is not a scoreline that you really want to talk about if you're Griffin. Look at those paltry numbers when it comes to the damage done, but 15.1k. I wasn't expecting Faker to be that close to Teddy's damage done this game.
He did a lot of poking, especially in the mid game, even chasing down Zoe in the top side.
And also, LeBlanc is considered a difficult matchup into Zoe as well, just because you can, when the LeBlanc is distorting forward, the trouble bubbles are more easy to land, right?
Yeah.
But Faker just expertly playing that lane, Yukal not really having much that he can do on the Zoe pick from behind.
Yeah, it came down to him dying around the dragon that one time. It got Teddy fed, and from there it was kind of lights out. They had a chance towards the second dragon fight.
Yeah.
All right, I suppose that was the third dragon on the map, but the second real fight that actually came through, and they kind of botched it, and
they did.
T1 played it really well.
Yep, well, we are going to go to a short break. When we get back, we'll see whether T1 can get the 2-0. See you then.
붙어있지만 마라. 소라카가 붙어있지만 마.
안 당하.
리퍼만 걸려도 리퍼 나.
다대호야. 다대호 괜찮을 듯. 괜찮을 듯.
나 여기 핑 하나만 할게.
렌즈 2초.
다대호인 거 이제. 이제 한다. 갔다
갔다 빼. 빼. 이거 걸어놨어.
야 좋아. 와줘.
나 안 죽어.
받아봐. 괜찮은데. 맞아.
이겼어.
더 갈게.
뒤에도 이겼어.
더 갈게. 올라프 녹음.
나공 있어. 나 죽을 건 없다.
갔다
기둥 벗게.
기둥 봐.
노이 높을 아직. 끝났다 이거 갔다 가면.
죽을 건 없어.
펜타킬.
이거 타워 치자. 우리 웨이브 쳐야 돼.